It's time to address this situation head on. Everyone's in the comments, on Twitter, whatever you want to say about it. People are still calling for Joel Embiid to be traded off the Philadelphia 76ers. And that's a lot of the fan base has been saying that. And this recent ESPN article basically confirmed that Joel Embiid will be a member of the Philadelphia 76ers still, whether you like it or not. And that's not a super big bombshell type of report. We're not really, reinventing the wheel with that statement. But at the end of the day, people are still in the comments calling for Joel Embiid to be traded. And there's also, speculation with all his injuries that he could potentially retire. Ladies and gentlemen, he's under contract through 2028, 2029, where he'll be making about $70 million in that last season. He is not retiring anytime soon. He is going to be tied to this franchise until he requests out, basically. If he wants to be traded, but I really don't think he's that type of guy, because if he was going to be that type of guy, I think he would have done it before. And with all the speculation and all the criticisms that I think he's had in that article about the Philadelphia 76ers kind of mismanagement of his injuries, he's still here, and he still willingly signed that contract extension last year, got that bag, and people are still upset about that due to his lack of ability to play over the past season with the injuries and playing in the Olympics and still not being ready for the start of the season last year. Sixers fans are frustrated with the situation for sure, but there's no avenue, there's no path for the Sixers to be a winning franchise, a winning team without Joel Embiid on their roster right now, and it's that plain and simple. But I do think the Sixers have done a great job this offseason, even the past 2 years, of just kind of helping bridge this gap between being able to still win now, but also building for the future in the post-Embiid era. You got young guards and Tyrese Maxey and McCain, VJ Edgecombe you just selected, hopefully Quentin Grimes back as well. You had a nice kind of core, nice little nucleus there. Justin Edwards on a cheap contract too, of guys for kind of this next stage of the Philadelphia 76ers, but hopefully Joel Embiid is still able to come back. But people, you could just stop calling for him to be traded. Stop calling for him to be cut, whatever you're saying in the comments. He is going to be here whether you like it or not, and it's time to get used to that. And for all those people, as well as I was saying, that are speculating, oh, maybe he'll retire, be forced to retire due to these injuries, that article goes in and shows you really how much of a competitor he is, how much he cares, and how much he still does, want to be a member of the Philadelphia 76ers going forward. This is one of the key takeaways I took away from this article. It's basically damned if you do, damned if you don't. Because if you don't play, then there's the whole narrative that he's soft and so on. You can read the rest. But I never wanted to feel like I was quitting on this team. And obviously that goes back to the whole thing in therapy about not wanting to disappoint people. He cares. Like, whether you believe it or not, whether you think this was a fluff piece that was kind of just made to look it was written to make him look good, basically, was the takeaway from a lot of people. That couldn't be further from the truth. This article really dives into the entire mindset that he has and wanting to win here, wanting to bring that championship to Philadelphia, wanting to be the guy for this team that helps get them over the top. And it's a real shame that this knee injury keeps lingering, because he was the best player in the world just 2 years ago at one point. He was averaging 35 points per game at one point, and then he injures his knee against the Golden State Warriors, and really nothing's been the same since. But Joel Embiid's going to be here. He's going to be tied to this franchise till at least 28, 29 through that season. And then from there, who knows? But he signed that extension because he wants to be here, wants to be in Philadelphia, and he's such a competitor. In this article, it basically breaks it down, everything. He is going to be, the franchise player still going forward. This was one of the major takeaways I had from the article as well. So if you haven't read it yet, go over to ESPN.com. Just go to their NBA page and you'll see it. But this was my main takeaway, I think, of why he loves playing basketball so much, why he wants to do what he does, and be the man for the Philadelphia 76ers. On the morning of April 25th, the day of Game 3, this is touching on the Knicks playoff series from 2 seasons ago. This is basically his physical trainer, our physical therapist. She left Embiid's house after another late-night treatment session, 2:29 a.m., and she sends him a message, and this kind of goes into his mindset and pushing through some of these physical parameters that he's had. It reads in part, "Do you have the ability to give yourself some grace and compassion? I'm here to remind you that you are deserving of that. Who cares about what other people think? You are allowed to fail, you're allowed to lose, but you're not allowed to feel shame or feel hopeless. There's no place for such emotions. You have fought it. It has been a courageous fight." She tried to give him an out, basically, saying after all this treatment, like, you don't have to do this. You don't have to go out there and play. She urged him to play under a hard minutes restriction, even though it was the playoffs. Maybe we discuss it with the team. Joel wants to go out there and give everything he has, but he has to be on a minutes restriction, limit you to 25 minutes. Regardless of his decision, she promised, you could do anything, and I'm with you no matter what. It was, great to have someone like this in his corner. But what does he do? He goes out there and plays. He goes out there and he plays in this playoff game, and he has one of the best playoff games of his career. He goes out there and has 50 points in the next game. But there was other situations throughout the article that I talked on, Nicholas Batum basically saying, I sat next to him in the locker room every day, and I just wasn't sure how he even walked, looking at his knee and how bad of shape he was in. So this article confirms everything, that he's not going anywhere. The only way that he's going anywhere is if he, goes to the front office and says, I want to be traded. He will be on the roster. He will be under contract, and people are still calling for him to be traded. This article shows you everything you need to know, confirms every possible doubt in the back of our minds that Joel Embiid will be here and will be the 76ers center, franchise player, and hopefully, for our sake, he's able to get back on the court. But this was the end kind of piece of this article and for this video, where he didn't even respond to that text message that she sent him. You can read it here. Did you read this? Kasperi asked. Yes, Embiid said they shared a look. He was going to play, and Embiid went out there and scored 50 points that night in a must-win game, a playoff career high. The Sixers wound up losing that series, but Embiid on one leg basically averaged 33 and 10. He had great playoff numbers, great playoff success. But you look at the bottom here, where I've had to stop Joel a couple times, says Martin, who left the team, another guy that was working with him in the past. When he gets in the competition mode, it's really difficult to have a meaningful conversation, and that was before he was super famous. So that just even confirms more kind of just what he's willing to do to his body on a day-to-day basis just to be able to get out there and play. Tyrese Maxey said it the other day as well, Joel Embiid's the biggest competitor I know, and it's not even close. And I think that is the narrative that is out there, that he doesn't want it, that he's lazy, that he's out of shape. Sure, from time to time we can see that Game 7 against the Celtics a few years ago was an embarrassing performance, but he's got all these people going to bat for him, basically saying what he goes through on a day-to-day basis just to be able to play. It's pretty remarkable stuff. So wanted to just give him a shout out here in this video. It's a little bit of a downtime in the basketball calendar right now, but this was a good article to come out and basically confirm what we need to hear, what we need to know. And he's going to try and push through it this year. But that was another video we did the other day, basically talking on how he's going to do this on his own timeline this time. He's been led the wrong direction by the Sixers front office and medical staff, I think, one too many times, where he's a little bit sick of that. He's going to make sure his knee is fully ready to go, and he's able to go out there and be the Joel Embiid that we all know and love on a day-to-day basis while going out there and playing for the Sixers. And I've said this before, there's going to be situations where he might play 7 out of 8 games, but then he has to sit 3 or 4 games. It's going to be a roller coaster. It's going to be a headache and something that you have to deal with, but there's no way that the 76ers are a better team without Joel Embiid. And you could say the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result, and the Sixers might be insane for running it back out here with him. But like it or not, he's under contract, and for him to be under contract here, you're going to have to root for him. You're going to have to support him. And when he is on the floor, he's still going to be the best player, even if he's 75% of what he was. He is still that good and that dynamic of a basketball player. So I'd love to see what you guys think in the comments below. This avenue of getting him off the roster is not going to happen. It's not happening anytime soon. Maybe next offseason you can revisit that if he wants to be traded, but nobody in their right mind is even trading for him right now, not knowing what you're able to get health-wise out of him on a day-to-day basis. So let me know what you guys think in the comments below. We got to support Joel. We got to have his back, and we got to hope and pray that he is able to be 100% this year and help this 76ers team in a wide open Eastern Conference, potentially make a run at that Eastern Conference Finals and maybe an NBA title. But let me know what you guys think in the comments below about Joel. As always, please drop a like, please drop a subscribe, and we'll talk to you next time here on Sixers Digest.